Alrighty, first thing I'm going to do is climbing up in the truck. I'm going to use my 3 points of contact getting up into the truck. Once I'm in the truck, I'm going to make sure everything's adjusted for me, the steering wheel, the seat. I'm going to make sure I'm in neutral, make sure my brakes are on. Alright, then I'm going to go to my 4 safeties. My 4 safeties are my seat belt. So I'm going to check my seat belt, pull it out. I'm going to look, make sure it's not tore or cut. Going to make sure it latches. Going to make sure it unlatches. Then I'm going to go inside my glove box over there. I should have my fuses. I should have 1 replacement fuse for every amp that's in the fuse box. I'm going to go to the back passenger side compartment where my 3 reflective triangles should be. I will show you those on the outside pre-trip. My other emergency or safety is my fire extinguisher, which is back here on the driver's side compartment. My fire extinguisher should be ABC rated. It should be properly fastened to the floor. The pin should be in and it should be fully charged. And I will also show you where that's at on the outside pre-trip. After my 4 safeties, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to move to my windshield. My windshield's properly mounted and secure. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. I want to make sure that my windshield is clean and there are no illegal stickers blocking my view. From my windshield, I'm going to come down to my wipers, turn my key on. I'm going to turn my wipers on. And I want to make sure my wipers are working. And I also want to make sure that I can spray washer fluid, which I can. Also, when my key came on, I wanted to make sure that my ABS light came on and came off within a reasonable amount of time. From there, I'm going to go to my mirrors, my outside mirrors. I want to make sure that they're properly mounted and secure. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. All the nuts and bolts are present and tight. Special about the mirrors is I want to make sure that they're clean and there are no illegal stickers blocking my view, and they are also adjusted for me. From my mirrors, I'm coming into my windows, my side windows. I want to make sure that my windows are clean, there's no illegal stickers on them, and that they properly work. They go up and down. Okay, from my mirrors and windows, I'm coming into my dash. I want to make sure that all my gauges are working properly. But specific gauge I got to talk about is my DEF gauge. Make sure that it is properly working, and also my 2 air tank gauges, air tank 1 and 2, or A and B, whatever it is. My air governor on my air tank gauge should sneeze between 120 and 140. As I'm working my way across the dash, I'm going to come to my traffic monitoring device. I want to make sure that it is properly functioning. From there, I'm going to come down to my heater controls. I want to put it on defrost and the floor. I'm going to crank up the fan, turn it on cold. I'm going to reach up to make sure I'm blowing cold air on my window. I want to make sure that I'm blowing cold air down on the floor, which I am. Then I want to make sure that I can heat that air, which I can. Blowing heat up there, blowing heat down here. So that is working. My heater is working properly. Coming across, I'm going to talk about my indicators in my dash to make sure they're properly working. First indicators I'm checking are make sure my 4-ways are working. They are working. I want to make sure that my left turn signal is working and my right turn signal indicator is working. Also, I want to make sure, turn my lights on, make sure my high beam lights indicator is working. All right. From there, I'm going to go to my steering wheel. I want to make sure that there is no movement in my steering wheel, no more than 2 inches of movement in this 20-inch steering wheel, or 10 degrees. From my steering wheel, I'm going to go to my horns, make sure my air horn and my city horn both work. From there, you can sit here, you're going to look, make sure you got everything. If you feel confident, you can move on to your brake check. So that's what I'm going to do now. I feel confident. First thing I'm going to do starting my air brake check is I want to look at my air gauge and I want to pump it down to 100 pounds. If the truck is already at 100 pounds, you can skip the pump down step. But this truck is riding at about 130 pounds, so I'm going to pump the brakes down to 100 pounds, and I'm going to see if make sure that my air pump and air governor are working. There I'm at 100 pounds, so now I got to start my truck to make sure my air pump is working. So I'm going to clutch to the floor, make sure I'm in neutral again, and I'm going to start the truck. Once the truck is started, I can give her some throttle, and I'm watching my gauge to make sure that my air pump is properly functioning. I can see my air gauge moving, so it is working properly. Now I'm going to wait till my air governor sneezes, which it should sneeze between 120 and 140. Okay, there was my air governor sneeze. It sneezed at 135. So the first thing I'm going to do with my brake test now is I'm going to do my static brake test. To do my static brake test, I'm going to put the truck in a low gear. I'm going to go second gear. I'm going to reach down and shut the truck off. I'm going to turn the key back on. Watch my gauges cycle, and then I'm going to release both my trailer and truck brakes. So for my applied brake, my static brake test, I should lose no more than 3 pounds in a combination truck or 2 pounds in a straight truck within 1 minute. You can ask the examiner to start a timer, or you can reach up and grab our timer and start the timer for 1 minute. I'm not going to sit here for a minute just to save time on the video, but you would sit here for exactly 1 minute. 59.60. Okay, the minute is up. Watching your gauge and the timer, you should not lose any more than 3 pounds in this truck within 1 minute. So that was my static brake test. Now I'm going to my applied, which my applied, I should lose no more than 2 or 3 pounds in a straight truck or 4 pounds in a combination truck within 1 minute. So I'm going to put my foot on the brake, and again, I will start my timer, or I will ask the examiner to time me for 1 minute to make sure that I do not lose more than 4 pounds of air in this combination truck within a minute. 59.60, again, I'm not waiting a minute, but you will when you're testing. 59.60, I did not lose no more than 4 pounds of air in this truck. All right, moving to my next step, I am going to do my lights, alarms, and buttons. My lights and alarms on my dash should come on at or before 55 pounds. So to do that, I am going to pump the brakes till my light and alarm come on. And it should be at or before 55 pounds. Okay, there's my alarm, and my alarm came on at 60 pounds in this truck. The next step is my lab test, or my button test, my emergency brake test. I should make sure that my emergency brakes come on, and they should come on between 20 and 45 pounds. When you're doing this test, watch your buttons. Make sure that they both pop. So I'm going to pump the brakes until my emergency brakes come on, and they should come on between 20 and 45 pounds. There's one. And there's the other one. Okay, my emergency brakes have come on, and my emergency brakes come on at 35 pounds. So now I got to start my truck to build air pressure back up again. So I'm going to do a safe start, neutral, clutch the whole way to the floor, start the truck. Again, if I haven't mentioned it, all my gauges are in working order, and my ABS light came on and went off within a reasonable amount of time. So I'm going to idle the truck up so that I start building air so I can move on to our next test. Again, if I didn't say it, I'm going to build air until my air governor sneezes, and that should be between 120 and 140. At 60 pounds, my low air warning light and alarm went off. Okay, there was my air governor sneezed. It did sneeze out of 135. So my next test is my tug test. I want to check my tractor brakes and my trailer brakes to make sure they are properly adjusted and working. So to do that, I'm going to go to third gear. All right, there's third gear. I'm going to release my truck brakes and check my trailer brakes. I'm going to give it a second and give it a little bit of a tug. Okay, the truck's not going anywhere. My brakes are holding, so my trailer brakes are working and are properly adjusted. Now I'm going to release my trailer brakes to check my truck brakes, my tractor brakes, make sure that they are properly adjusted and working. Again, a little bit of a tug. You can see it's not letting me go nowhere, so those are properly adjusted. My next test, I'm going to check my service brake. I'm going to leave it in third gear. I'm going to go approximately 5 miles an hour, both hands on the steering wheel. The truck, when I apply the brakes, should come to a nice smooth stop and should not pull to the left or to the right. Mile an hour, clutch in. Truck came to a nice smooth stop, didn't pull left or to the right. Now what you'll do is you can sit here and you can think, did you get everything? If you did not get everything, you can go back and say it. If it's a gauge or your wipers or your windshield. If you missed something on your brake test, your pressure test, go back to the beginning and start your brake test right from the beginning. All right? Once you are done with that and you feel confident with your in-cab, you can say, okay, I'm done with my in-cab. The examiner will say, okay, are you ready to start your outside pre-trip? Say yes. When you go to start your outside pre-trip, you will shut the truck off, turn the key back on, turn your headlights on, and ask the examiner to step outside and check all your lights outside. That is the start of your outside pre-trip.